Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Wordy, my hub for all of the words that I read, write, and otherwise want to yap about. Today, I have another very special author guest for you guys. She's the author of the Dog Tags and Lace series, and her latest release, The Life Cycle of a Crush, was an Amazon new adult top release. When not writing, she works as a therapist and often weaves concepts she puts into her professional practice into her romance novels. Please welcome Vanessa Zian to the show. Vanessa, welcome to Talk Wordy.
Thank you. That was such a good intro. That sounded so good.
I know I was telling her off camera, I was like, I always feel weird doing my intros with guests because it's like, oh, we're entering professional zone. Let's
No, it was like a really good kind of indicator, almost like when you bang a gong and it's like, here's the new setting. That really just solidified it. It was beautiful.
now I'm
So
have to
it
add
was helpful. Yeah.
to my intro song because there's like a little theme that plays. You'll hear it when the episode comes out. But um, I'm so happy that you're here. Also, for those of you watching the podcast visually, I just have to say, Homegirl here's got a sweater. She found me on Instagram and she also has this amazing Fran Fine-esque sweater on right now. It's everything. It's like snow leopards on the sleeves. And mind you, is it like orangey, burnt orange tan, the one you're wearing?
Yeah, mine's like a tan color. I hardly ever wear actual colors. I'm neutral all the way. I don't know what happened. I used to be way more colorful, and I think I just got old and lazy and was like, well, just get a whole bunch of stuff that always matches. So mine is I like the blue better that you had, but yeah, mine's like a tan kind of brown.
It's so cute. No, it's funny because you're like, I'm neutral, and then behind me it's like a rainbow threw up on my bookshelf.
It's beautiful though, and it's all organized. Like I love you got the warm colors on the one side and then you have the darker on the other side. It's
Yeah.
nice.
So before we get into actual questions about you and your books, what I like to do with my guests is talk about what we are reading, watching, and listening to. So I will go first. What I've been reading lately, I actually, for the first time ever, I got my first ever library card last week.
Sinner.
I know. It's
No way.
But I will say, so growing up, I always had access to a library, and so I didn't need a card. Uh,
Okay.
but in my adulthood, like I've been on so many book buying bans that just never work out, obviously, because look at my shelf.
Oh yeah.
But I am trying to crack down, and I decided to go visit my local library because I like to go there and just sit and do work.
Yeah.
I saw a book that I've been looking for in bookstores everywhere, and they just never had. And I was like, I need to get this book now. I'm going to get a library card. And
That's impressive. You have a good library if they had it and your bookstores don't. I mean,
yeah,
that.
I was shocked. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, and it was the only copy. So I filled out all the paperwork and got a library card. So I just reading
Yeah.
Snow Globe. I feel like I'm gonna butcher his name because the book's not in front of me, but it's a South Korean novel that got translated into English.
Ooh, those are always fun because you can always like pick up a little bit of the lost in translation kind of awkwardness of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Snow.
think the author is Seyoung Park, if I'm not mistaken. It's a like YA dystopian, and I love traditional like Korean media that gets like either translated into English or we get subtitles for, like Parasite, my all-time favorite movies. I love Squid Game, like all they produce such amazing content. And so when I
Your interest level just gets higher and higher with each passing second. That's amazing. Okay.
so
Very cool.
I just started it. I don't have much to go off of yet, but I've been highly anticipating that book for a while. So I'm excited to keep going. Watching, obviously, I just watched People We Meet on Vacation, and
What was it? I haven't seen it yet.
it's really good. So I hadn't read the book, and so I read the book like rapid style. I binged it before I watched the movie so that I could like compare.
Mhm.
For a quintessential like 2020s rom-com, I really enjoyed it. A lot of things that had like deep significance to me in the books, or the book
The
singular.
book. The book.
Yeah, the one and only. Um, it kind of came off as like Easter eggs for me in the movie. So like
Okay.
never read the book, you won't know what holds like really cool significance. But it was a beautiful movie, beautiful book. It's one of my favorite Emily Henrys now. And then listening wise, Uh,
Wait, can we pause real quick because I just need to talk about that. So, what is your recommend? It's been several years since I read it. What's your recommendation? Do I do what you did and reread it and then watch, or do I just kind of, because I probably the Easter egg stuff I probably wouldn't know because it's been so long. Do I just go ahead and watch it?
so, how good would you say that your comprehension is? Because I read this book days ago and I remember big moments. Like it fades fast for me.
Yeah, I like to think my comprehension's good, but my retention is not necessarily fantastic. Um, so the big moments, gosh, like I'm even trying to think what big moment pops out for me right now, other than like England garden scene. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I personally recommend if you have a chance, go reread the book, but
Okay.
no pressure if you can't because they do stand on their own. Like
Yeah.
it nods back to the book, but you
Yeah.
could, if you're a reader, you have these little treasures from the book that you get to hold on to, and just movie watchers won't like really understand.
Yeah.
If you only watch the movie, you still get a really good gist of the story, but also you have these little snippets that aren't in the book if people
Yeah.
only read the book and don't watch the movie, that sort of thing. So you really can't go wrong either way.
Yeah. I feel like we should just do an experiment. Like because you did read it, maybe I won't, and then we'll trade notes.
Great movie though. The casting was wonderful. They did a really good job.
Okay.
Like I need to go figure out what other movies. His name is Brett. I just don't remember his last name. The director of this movie. I need to go find out what else he's done.
It was that good. Okay. All right.
And then listening wise, I've been listening to Crux Deluxe by Joe. So Joe Keery, who played Steve Harrington on Stranger Things. He
Okay.
been in a band. He's been the singer in a band for several years, and I've been
No
listening.
way, I did not know that.
Really? Okay, let me put you on. Okay, when you listen to this music, you're probably going to start off thinking, "What is this? Like, I don't get it." It's starting to become more mainstream, but it has this kind of indie, subdued sound, but you can groove to it. Uh,
Okay, this is me holding a pen. If we could just, what was that again? What am I looking up?
Benson.
Because I'm otherwise I'm going to be like Steve Carrington's actual person band. Please help me.
So the band name is Joe, but it's spelled DJO.
Okay.
The lead singer is Joe Keery, spelled normal Joe, like Joe
Mhm.
Keery. Very alternative pop indie.
Okay.
You
I'm liking it.
could groove to.
All right.
I
I'm down.
love it. He writes. It's funny because like the music itself, it's either like super catchy or it's super subdued, but the lyrics are so weirdly deep, and you don't realize it until like maybe the third listen. I really love his stuff. I'm a newer fan of his music. Obviously, they're the band that does, I don't know if you've heard the song, but it's called End of Beginning. And when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. Like it's everywhere on TikTok.
Probably one of those things that if I, as soon as I hear it, I would know.
Yeah, I
I'm
bet.
horrible at remembering names.
But yeah, that's what I've been reading, watching, and listening to. And so now I'm curious, what have you been reading, watching, and listening to?
Okay. Reading, I have been doing Harley LaRue, The Losers. Have you read anything Harley LaRue?
No.
Okay. Dark romance, paranormal, not this, The Losers is not polyamorous, like all these things that in my head, I'm like, not my thing. I can't get enough Harley LaRue. It was the first thing that I ever read by her was I think The Dare. Like there's tons of people out here who know exactly what I'm talking about and would be sucked into this because in my head I'm like, well, that's not relatable. Like I am a very straight woman who has been with my husband for 19 years, like pretty chill and on that on the like on the straight and narrow path. What's the that you two you relate?
Yeah. Well, I'm just like, yay, look at you, 19 years.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, next month it will be 19 years. And then we were together for 4 years before that. And I'm only 41. I just turned 41. So do the math. It's been a while. Um, I freaking love her books though. They're so good. Somebody recommended it to me. And yeah, I devour them. So I guess it's just this like naughty side of me that pops out. That's like in another life. I would just love all freely with no
Dude.
qualms or consequences about it.
Okay, so that's what you've been reading. What else have you been watching and listening to?
I have been watching, okay, so Stranger Things, of course, and The Diplomat. We just finished that. And by we, I mean my husband and I. What else have I been watching? My mother-in-law is currently like temporarily living with us, and she loves watching movies. And so it's this really interesting thing at night when you're like, okay, kids are in bed. It's my husband and I and my mother-in-law. Let's watch a movie, and it sort of narrows the pot, like what you can comfortably watch. I have obliterated that. I've been like, yeah, hey, one of my favorites is Boogie Nights. Let's watch that. And my husband's like, I'm going to kill you. I do not want to sit here and watch Boogie Nights with my mother. And I'm like, but it's such a great movie. Let's watch it. So, we've like slowly branched out beyond that safe bubble. And then when he gets uncomfortable, he just walks away. And then it's just me and my mother-in-law hanging out watching movies. So the latest one that we watched together was Wonderland. Did you ever see that with Val Kilmer?
Uh-uh.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's older, but it's based on a true story, the real murders in LA on Wonderland Avenue, I think. And John Holmes was the big like porn star, and it's this house that like it was the party house, and they kind of liked having him around because he was the big porn star, and Lisa Kudrow's in it, and uh,
Love
she's so good, and she's so different than anything you've ever seen her in. Like she's like the straight laced. It's his ex-wife, or I think they were even still married, but like estranged. It's so good. Wonderland. You got to see it. But anyways, that was one of the ones that I watched with my mother-in-law, and my husband was like, I can't do this.
you.
Yeah, he was out. So
And then listening wise, have you been into any podcasts, any music, audiobooks?
So I got a new car a couple months ago. I used to have like Sirius XM. In the new car, we don't have it. Like it's a Mazda. And I guess that's not like an option with a Mazda. They do oh my gosh, Pandora. So yeah, it's been weird. So I've been just doing whatever my phone hooks up to Amazon Music. And my son, he'll be 15 in April, his playlist is like my favorite thing to listen to. It's this mix of like Biggie and then Cage the Elephant and then random new stuff. Like it's such a good mix that he has. So I end up listening to that a lot.
Cage the Elephant is taste. They're
Oh, what we saw them. We took my husband and I have 4 kids. We took all 4 kids to go to a music festival last year in Ocean City, Maryland. It's called Ocean's Calling, and Cage the Elephant was there, and the Killers, and a whole bunch of people. So, so good. I mean, go see them live if you have the chance.
Oh yeah. I saw them in concert for their new album, like their newest album.
Okay.
Such a good show. I
Such a good
think
job.
Social Cues is one of my favorites of theirs, if not the favorite. Um, I can't Melophobia, the one with cigarette
Again,
names and telescope, like love that. Oh wait, I'm the Tell Me I'm Pretty. I just love all of them. I
okay.
could
I'm terrible with names. Once again, I'm really horrible with names, but I'm sure I agree with all of you on all of them.
with the weird guy with the hat in the blue background. That's Social Cues. Uh,
Okay.
Tell Me I'm Pretty is the redhead coming out of the pool, and
Okay.
then Melophobia is like the weird, like almost Pablo Picasso. Is that right? Almost like the cubism with the
Cupid, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, but I love all of their music. Anyways, I could talk about Cage the Elephant for a while, but let's move on. Let's
Okay.
talk about you because I'm excited to talk more about you and your book. So, focusing more a little bit on the personal side first. So, like I said in the intro, you are an author and a therapist.
I
Um,
am.
Tell us a little bit about what a day in the life is for you juggling these two careers.
It's not as hard as you would think. Because I'm a therapist and I can make my own schedule and, book when I want to book and not book when I don't, I take off usually Mondays and Fridays. And those are my writing days. But even like on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I always work one weekend day, I still will like carve out. I work the best in the morning when I'm writing. But I'll carve out a little bit of time in the morning just to keep warmed up, because I notice if I spend, do you relate to this? Like if I spend too many days not writing, I get real rusty real fast.
Yes. I took a month off in November because I was just go, go, go. I loved doing the NaNoWriMo challenges. But after I turned in my book to my agent, I was like, I need to chill.
Yeah.
So I took November off and then I just had like no brain flow writing wise all of December too. I finally just started writing something new. So yeah, I definitely I get you there.
Yeah, for real. Like that is a real thing. So I try and write a little bit of something every single day, whether or not it's actually towards a project or just to write, just to keep it warmed up. But yeah, so I get some flexibility in that, thankfully. I mean, my house is a mess. Like there's always something, there's a lot to juggle. And the thing that I usually am like, I don't need to do the laundry right now. I'll write instead. That does get sacrificed. So
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like you've got a good balance though.
I
Um
try. I'm
yeah.
probably making it sound better than it really is. I mean, if you were to ask my husband, he might be like, "Well," because I can be very like, if an idea comes to me, I will be like, "We are out. Sorry, guys. The rest of the world no longer exists. I need to get this down." So I think that's tough. Like, right? You relate. This.
Yeah. I if something like pops in my brain, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I've like pulled over to the side of the road before. Um, it always hits when I'm like not at my laptop. So like
Always.
I hope that when I kick the bucket, like everybody just deletes my entire notes app. They don't need to go rummaging in there. There are crazy thoughts.
Oh, it's like the same with the search history. You're like, God, if somebody found this, they would think I'm psycho, right? It's like this stuff. Yeah.
Just command A, delete. Get rid.
Right. Yeah. Do you ever go back and read it and you're like, what was that? What was I thinking? Like, what? Like you surprise yourself. I do that all the time. I'm like, what? I have no idea what I was even trying to say here. I don't know. But at the time, I must have thought it was really good.
Oh, I thought I was just wise beyond my years. You know how everybody's romanticizing 2016 right now?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
26 is the new 2016. Well, for fun, I was combing through my notes app to see how far back my notes went, and I saw some stuff from 2016, and I was like, "Were you okay?
What was
With
happening?
your heart? Were you doing?" I should have gone to therapy when I. But which reminds me, so are you able to tell us like what kind of therapy you specialize?
Yeah, for sure. I work at a clinic that specializes in infertility. So, like women that are going through infertility treatments, just because if you've done something like IVF, it's very intensive and there's a lot of medical terminology and just these different phases that you're going through. So, my clinic started out as that, but then it grew and expanded, and they needed somebody else to come on as like a catch-all therapist. And so I knew the woman who ran the clinic. And so I started working with her in just your general like postpartum depression, regular depression and anxiety, couples counseling, that type of thing. But my absolute like favorite specialty is working through complex trauma. I'm an EMDR therapist. I don't know. It's been like big on TikTok, so people actually know what EMDR is, but it's eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a very specific therapy that is all about what you call bilateral stimulation, which sounds, I know it sounds so clinically, it's so clinic, but it's very like about your left and your right brain and kind of rewiring and helping somebody go through what those traumatic experiences are that are imprinted in their mind, and just rewiring so that we get a little bit more adaptive reasoning in there. And it's incredibly effective for complex trauma, and it is my baby. That's my favorite.
So awesome. Yeah, I had heard about EMD.
EMDR. EMDR. Well done. Yes.
Like I'm good with like composing sentences, but give me an acronym and it's probably going to leave my brain. Again, back to that terrible connection and retention for me. But no, I have heard about it. That's so cool. Is this like is that part of your career? Is that something that you kind of like publicly talk about with your author career? I mean, I know you blend everything with your romance novels like with your knowledge, but like do
Oh, I do. I didn't at first. When I published my first book, I was kind of like, all right, let's see. Like, let's just see if I can even write a book. Okay, you wrote a book. Cool. Was that a fluke? Can you do it again? And I've known my whole life that I would write a book like that, but it's still, there's that second guessing and self-doubt that you have in your mind. So I was like, let's just do that and I won't tell anybody about it. And then I think I had like my actual phone number, like my real phone number on TikTok. And so a client found me on there and was like, hey, what are you up to? This is cool. Am I allowed to read your book? And I was like, well, yes. How do you feel about the fact that the person you divulge your life to is like out there publishing books? And it was amazing the reception of like, I am all for it. And then it kind of occurred to me like, I should probably tell people that I do this. Like, actually, if anything, I've gotten it all wrong, but my clients have a right to know that I do this. And so I've had a lot of my clients read my work, and they have been some of the most like original fans that will talk about the things that I say. One of the things like my friends and family will tell me that they when they're reading my work, they have to remind themselves that it's me. Whereas my clients will say they hear my voice all throughout it because I think there is so much of the psychological elements that come in. I always kind of, when people are discovering me, like at book signings, and they're like, tell me about your books, I say that if a self help book and a smutty romance could have a baby, then like my work might be their cousin or something like that, just like the easiest way I can describe it. Like there is a lot of introspection and it just kind of naturally came out. I didn't intend for it to be that way. I was just trying to write something sweet, easy breezy, just to have a little reprieve from the intensity of my day job, but it just came through anyways. And so now I just run with it.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. I was curious because I was like, I wonder if it's like Hannah Montana with Double Live, like two different personas. But
In
no,
my head, that's how it was going to be for sure. I was going to be Hannah Montana. Yeah. Yeah, no, not at all. And it's actually better this way.
yeah, I was gonna say the fact that some of your clients and were your OG fans, like some of your big supporters. I think that's so cool.
It's fun too because like one of my books, the main female character has an eating disorder. And so one of my clients that has struggles with eating disorders, I was really excited for her to read it. And for one, I was like, did I do it justice? Like, did I do okay? And she was like, yeah. But then we would talk about it, like what that brought up for her as she was reading. And that's been I never saw any of that coming. That's been a kind of added bonus that has been fun to navigate. So yeah, they've been really supportive. I've been lucky in that way.
In that particular instance, it's like that person got two therapists in one go.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay. And then regarding your author career, so you're agented, but it seems like you choose to remain indie for the most part. Is that correct?
Okay, I'll try and explain exactly how I've ended up here. I've been a writer my whole life. That's just always been something that I've been good at. Like as a kid in school, I would win random awards for, the poetry competition or whatever little thing would come up. I went to school for my undergrad at University of Delaware with an English major. And then when I graduated, I was looking into MFA programs for creative writing out in California. I had this book idea for which I should still probably do this one day. I guess it would be considered a fantasy about like I studied a lot of women's kind of like I almost had a women's studies major, but what's the word I'm looking for? Goddess centered religions.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I just was so fascinated by that. And so I had this book idea to do a fantasy with like a matriarchy kind of society and the goddesses. And I don't know, drafted up a couple chapters, which I'm sure are in existence somewhere and terrible. But in my head at 21 years old, I thought they were amazing. And so I had applied to grad schools, and when I went out to California to like do the grad school interviews, my boyfriend at the time came with me, who proposed to me, and I said yes, but that meant like abandoning that because he was getting ready to join the military, which meant going wherever in the world he would be stationed. And so I did that, and it was always like this thing that I wished I had pursued, but I was like, well, my life took a different turn, and that's cool. So fast forward however many years later, a good girlfriend of mine is a very successful indie author, and she knew that I loved writing, and she's like, if you want to like hold your book in your hands, you can do this thing called KDP, like. And that was a very safe and appealing option for me because I was kind of like, all right, is this just this lifelong dream that I've had that is never actually meant to happen? Like, can I even write a full book? I'm really good at starting projects and not finishing them. Like, is this another one of those? I'm that type of person who's like, I know how to play piano just a little bit, just enough. And, like I'm really great at not following through. And so I am self-aware enough to realize that that might be a thing when it came to writing books. So I wrote the first book, I finished it, I published it. I had readers that mostly friends, family, that were like, "Hey, we really want to read that first book is a love triangle," and they were like, "We want the odd man out story." So I was like, "Okay, I'll write that one." And then I wrote a second book, and that was like, it was a pretty. I don't know how you feel about this. Like, did you fear whether or not you could write multiple books?
Mm, no, but when I did a
Yeah.
genre shift, I was like, ooh, is this gonna fit me, my usual habits, my process? Because I feel like writing and because I started writing in fantasy, romantasy, that kind of domain.
Okay.
Yeah, I
What's your genre shift been?
contemporary rom-coms. So
Ooh.
very different. But I
You whatever, write whatever. Yeah.
but again, that headspace, I was like, is this gonna unfurl all of the work that I did the first time around? That was my only hiccup. But I will say, especially in the indie sphere, publishing the first book versus publishing the second book is very different. I feel like even if it's in the same series or the same genre, I actually had more worries with the second book because I was like, I was in overdrive with book.
Mhm.
I was like, I just want to make sure it exists, and it
Yeah.
does. Hooray! And then book two is like, oh, um, I have to make this good.
Right.
I like
You hold yourself to a higher standard
yes,
every single.
yeah. So that was my only
Yeah.
then. But continue what you were saying.
So it turned into a thing. I was like, all right, I'm doing this. Like, I can actually write. I have a ton of story ideas in my head. Cool. Like, I had that confidence, I suppose. And then I okay, so I was like, let me finish the series. Then I wrote The Life Cycle of a Crush, and I had a fantastic release for that. And that book, like I was telling you, that book poured out of me so fast, and I had a really great release with that. And that's where I was like, this is not a hobby anymore. You actually can do this. Let's make this a career. I am not business savvy. My friends that are self-published authors, they are so amazing. And any ounce of success that I've had, I can 1000% thank them for teaching me so much. But it's not something that I'm naturally wired. I'm not an entrepreneur by any means. So I was like, let's see if we can get an agent and query. And I did. And so, yeah, now I'm like, cool, I need some help. Show me what to do. So, yeah.
I love that. So because you've had so many like self-published authors like influence on your life and you had an agent, was there ever a thought in your mind that maybe you would want to go traditional, or do you really just love the path of self-publishing?
It was because this was a dream that I had from, the time that I was in college. Like, that was always my thing. I was going to be a writer. That was the image that I had. Like, I would finish this in my head. It was going to be that I would go to grad school, I would do this MFA, I would write this goddess-centered fantasy book, I would query that because I've already been like in this field with these people that are published authors. I would be able to get an agent and I would go traditional. Like that was just always the vision I had. And so now it was kind of like coming back to that, like a full circle coming back to that. Like that is still where I feel like if I'm supposed to be, you know?
Yeah, I love that. Okay, now I want to circle back to talk about the life cycle of a crush.
Okay.
For those of our listeners who maybe this is their first time meeting you or knowing about your books, tell them a little bit about this book in particular.
The life cycle of a crush started out with my editor, who she and I had been emailing back and forth, and she was telling me some story, and she was like, "Oh, the life cycle of a crush," and then she was like, "Hey, sidebar, that would actually make a really good book title." And I was like, "Challenge accepted." I just had like a thing blow up in my head. I could picture this entire scene, and I need to write it. And so I did, and it I think a lot of people relate to it just because it is those first flutters, like the main couple they meet when they are 13 years old because their parents are friends. And it's that awkwardness of like, I'm forced to be with you and hang out with you, but like I like you a lot, but I'm 13 and don't really know what to do with that. And there's all of those crush flutters. And I think it's just a really relatable thing and a big part of the reason why it just like poured out of me because I was like, oh God, I can still feel that. Like I would go back and read my old childhood journals and just like cringe, but also be like, it's so true. Like this is so real. And I ran with it.
I love that. No, I the 13-year-old journal thing is so real because I was
Uh-huh.
such a journaler in my childhood. There's this like not a meme, but this concept that's going around, this like phrase where, especially with everybody romanticizing 2016, where it's like I'm looking at her, like your present self is looking at your
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at her and I know her, but she doesn't know me.
Yes. I love that one. Yeah.
So I feel like that resonates with what you're talking about. And it
Yeah.
just, I
Have
love
you read your old journals? Like, have you gone back and just tried to read them? It's hard. I'm not gonna lie.
it's tough. It is cringe, especially when like I'm reading back moments where like my very fresh teenage self is starting to process like negative emotions.
Oh yeah.
See, like,
And they're heavy.
yes, like
So heavy.
the world was ending.
Indeed, yes. I made a joke about this to my daughter the other day, and what did I say to her? I forget like what even brought this up, but I was like, "Well, because you're of that age where it's like nobody understands me, everybody hates me, I'm never good enough, and this is it." And she was like, "That's so real." Yeah. And we were laughing about it, but she was like, "Those are the dark moments. How did you know?" And I was like, well, for one, I'm a therapist, but for two, because I was young once too. I know. I get it. It's all good. It'll get better. Don't worry. And for anyone out there listening, please, from one therapist to people that apparently love books and love reading, journal. It is so therapeutic. Journal. Even if you don't know what to say, just say, I don't know what to say. But apparently, this is helpful. And the words will eventually come and you'll sort through problems, and it is magical. So, journal.
Yeah. I think
Like
especially
my PSA.
yeah, especially if you are an author or you think you want to be an author, you want to start writing. I feel like journaling is the perfect gateway into that because there's no pressure when it comes to journaling. You could write fragments, you could write poems, you could write, you know, each paragraph doesn't have to connect to the next one topically. Uh, it's just like free write. Your first draft is your final draft, and
Mhm.
it's so like you said, it's just so therapeutic. Like I recommend it for everybody, even if you're not a writer. But um,
Agreed.
I want to talk about a little bit about your characters. So, what or who were some of your inspirations behind Taven and Desiree for this book?
I have a tendency to write really strong female characters. Like they are confident, they're sassy to the point where like when I'm reading or when I'm giving my drafts to alpha readers, they're like, she's too confident. Like, where's her arc? What are you doing here? She can't be this confident at the beginning. It's just my tendency. So with Desiree, I was like, I need to represent like the wallflowers, especially since we're meeting her at 13 years old. I need to introduce that. So I wanted to have a softer character who was not life of the party, who was a good girl who does the right things. And that's where Desiree was born. And Taven was just her perfect counterpart. And I think a part of why this book came to me so quickly is because I felt them and I could just like see them so vividly. And this is like a smidge of a spoiler, but there ends up being addiction in there that was not part of my original outline. And it just was like I hate to like say it because I am like sort of giving it away, but um that it just he was gonna struggle with these things. And I loved his brokenness and her kind of flip-flopping from patience with him to also being like, no, I can't do this. I deserve better. And it was just that the turmoil of that was so fun to write.
Yeah. But it's also so real and it's so vulnerable. And I think
Mhm.
there's want in a book. Yes, we love rainbows and sunshine and everything's going great, happy couple, but especially with like a second chance
Yeah.
romance, bonus points when it's childhood love.
Yeah.
I just, we need that angst.
We need the angst. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, as a fellow wildflower good girl in my childhood, thank you.
Good. I know, right? Like they can't all be these outgoing life of the party. It's like, yeah. So I'm glad. Yeah, I've gotten better. It's the book that I'm well just finished my last round of edits on. It's another like, okay, she can be chill. We can do this. Which is funny because like I'm very outgoing now, but as a kid, that took me some time. I was not that kind of, I don't know, super vivacious child.
Mhm.
That would shock people who know me now. But like I gotta tell you, it took a little while for me to kind of find my wings.
Yeah. Okay, this also might be a little spoilery, so if I'm crossing a line, you just let me know. But one of the things that I loved most about this book was that the parents had POVs too.
Yeah.
That's something that you always wanted to be a part of the story, or was that something you discovered like along the way?
So when I wrote my very first book, it was just supposed to be the dual POVs. And the mom of the main female character for that first book just kept like invading my mind. And I was like, she's banging on my door. I can't shut her up. Let me just sit down and see what she's trying to say. And I wrote that. And I wrote it in third person. And I was like breaking every single romance book rule because that's not what you're supposed to do. But it's just the way it came out. And I let it be. And, when I had readers coming to me, like, especially once I broke out of the friends and family bubble and had strangers coming to me and being like, this was really cool. I've read the same kind of thing, and it was awesome to read something that is still romance and still gives you all the angst and the flutters and the happily ever after, but like has this other element to it. And I'm like, you're my reader. Thank you. You do exist. So I kind of continued that and was like, all right, we'll just see what happens. And then with Life Cycle of a Crush, I think my original outline, I had only planned on doing the mom. I didn't plan on having the dad's POV, but then the dad's POV just came to me and I was like, oh, yeah, no, this needs to be told directly through him. And so I just kind of run with that. The book that I just finished, it is the first time that I don't have a third POV, a third or a fourth or whatever. It's just the main character, the main couple. And it was like nothing else was coming to me. And I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this. So yeah.
That's awesome. And I'll be harkening back to that in just a second. But before we get to that, you told me that you wrote this first draft faster than any of your others. Um,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, in roughly 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks. Yes. It just poured out of me. Was it good? No. No, it was not good.
How messy was that first
It
draft?
was a hot mess, not good. It was a lot of, what did they say? Like showing, not telling, or telling, not showing. It was not good. I can tell you right now. But the bones of it were out there, and then I went back and we cleaned it up, obviously. But yeah, no, it was my fastest, right?
What would you say about the story made it so compelling for you to put on the page at the pace that you did?
I think because of all of my books, it's probably closest to me and my husband's story. Like not like I say that very lightly. Just please do not sit here and dissect that book and think.
I love a good self-insert because write what you love, but
Right.
I understand what you're saying. Like it is loosely, but it does harken back to like a personal touch point for you.
Yeah, without a doubt. The way my husband and I have known each other our whole lives, because our older sisters, who they're 10 years older than each of us, they knew each other since kids and were best friends. And so they would like push us around in strollers together, and we just grew up together. And I was definitely the good girl and he was definitely the bad boy, and I had this massive crush on him that I thought was in no way reciprocated. And it turns out he felt the same way about me. So I think that's probably a little part of why it flew out of me so much. Yeah.
I love that. Ugh, so cute. So, so, so cute. Okay. Honestly, I think we covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I am still in the middle of your book.
Okay.
But I'm having a ball. It's a blast.
You got into the part where it explains why they have the rift.
I think I'm almost there.
Oh man, did I just like ruin everything then?
No, because you didn't give away any details.
Okay.
But anyways, that being said, listeners, audience, people watching me talk on my microphone right now, I need you to go read this. It's a
So
top release for a reason. Like
it resonates.
one of my favorite things to feel about a book is when I'm not even done with it and I get what's called 5-star tingles.
Ooh.
Like we're starting off at a 5. And
Thank you.
are we gonna like fizzle out? The answer's no.
I don't know. Might have a horrible ending. You never know. You might be like, well, you really dropped the ball, kid.
When I read a book, I start at 0 stars, not like this book sucked, but just like I'm neutral. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to understand how many stars this book is going to be by the time that I finish. Versus there are books that I get the 5-star tingles and I'm like, we're starting at a 5 because this is everything. And that's what this book is for me. And I'm having a blast. You guys are going to have a blast as well. Go read it. Um, I just wanted to say thank you for coming on the show. This has been so wonderful. You are a delight.
We
Um,
were clearly meant to meet because we have the same taste in quirky sweaters. So
I'm gonna have to go on Amazon and see if they've like dropped the price so I can get more color.
yeah.
Only in blue. I really want the green one or the red one. I like I said, colorful person.
Hmm.
Neutrals hate to see me come. Actually, that's the opposite. Neutrals would love to see me coming.
They're like, we need more. No, that is, yeah. I think the green one, yeah. I mean, for Christmas,
No, Christmas is past, but like, who cares? Same
who cares?
coming up.
Hmm. Yes, that's so true. You're absolutely right. Okay, that is the plan. Yeah.
For this. Okay, so to finish the episode, um, tell our readers where they can find you, whether that's on social media, if you have any events coming up, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
So most all social medias, it's Vanessa Zian. The one that I'm probably the best at and actually respond to people on is Instagram, which is Vanessa_Zian. And I do have a podcast coming up with Lydia Michaels. I'm not allowed to say the title or anything about it, but follow me if you want to learn more about that. And the next book signing I have is, let's see, at the end of the month at Romance Landia Bookstore in Maryland, where I will be with Willow Winters, who is the person I was talking about, who is my girlfriend who paved the way and taught me, like, oh, there's this thing if you want to hold your book in your hands. Um, Samantha Cole and Dee Dee Lorenzo and Tara Conrad will all be there on the 31st. And follow and look at my website for the rest of it.
Love that. Yeah, I got to interview Willow a couple weeks ago. She is wonderful. You are in very good company.
Oh my gosh. This is I'm seriously like I think I think to start out as an indie right here, right now, today is really, really difficult because of how saturated the market is, what AI has done to flood it. And the only way that I've remotely had success is because I've had Willow and these other Lydia Michaels, these other people to be like, here, babe, here's what to do. Let's show you. Like, come hold my hand. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, let me come hold your hand. Let me
Right.
say this. Also, I just realized I didn't backtrack to one more question. Can you tease anything about your next book, whether you're in the writing stage or editing? How's that going?
I can tell you that the book I just finished, that is only two POVs, and I had one of my like awesome readers who was probably one of my first complete strangers that stumbled across me and had reached out and was like, hi, here's my name. You're really cool. Thank you so much. She's like my favorite person ever. I just had her read and because I was like, is it still Vanessa Zian? Like, does it still have that flair? And she was like, I don't know how you do this complex character development in such a short time, but like, yeah, it's still got the things. So that is called Married in Shadow. It is book one of a three-book trilogy called the Cedar Vale trilogy. And it just got passed off to my agent to go on submission. So cross your fingers for me, y'all.
I know. Submission is hell. I can
Submission is really hard. Like you like brace yourself for all these rejections, but really it's just like a lot of quiet.
a lot of quiet. Oh my gosh. I never thought that the quiet would hurt more than the rejections.
Right. Yeah, nailed it. That's exactly how it feels. Yeah.
I was in an author, like I'm in a writers group, and we had like three authors do a panel and we did Q&A, and I knew they had all been on submission, so I like submitted a question of, hey, like what do you recommend for going on submission? And
Right. Keep writing.
one author was like, go to therapy if you can. Check your insurance and go to therapy. And I yeah, it's rough. I thought querying was bad.
Mm-mm. No, being on submission is really rough.
Yeah.
It is an exercise in patience like I never thought existed.
Yep.
Yeah. Mhm.
But this was so fun. Thank you so much again for coming on Talk Wordy. I've had a
Thank
blast.
you for having me.
Best of luck to you on submission.
You
Guys,
too.
you guys go read The Life Cycle of a Crush and her other books. They are out everywhere. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone. Okay. I'm gonna remember to stop recording.